This lesson is going to review how to write how-to paragraphs. First of all, what is a how-to paragraph? As you may have guessed, a how-to paragraph explains how to make or how to do something. When writing these types of paragraphs, you need to make sure that you're very clear and that your directions are complete and easy to follow. Otherwise, your reader is not going to be able to follow along and actually complete the task or activity or challenge that you are trying to explain to them how to do. And of course, make sure that you write your steps in the correct order. This seems kind of obvious, however, I've read a number of how-to paragraphs that give all of the steps, but they're jumbled and out of order, making them very difficult, if not impossible, to follow. So make sure, please, that your order is correct. Your process for writing one of these essays. First of all, you need to choose an activity or skill. Make sure when you're choosing an activity or skill that it's something that you know really well. If you don't know it really well, it's going to be really hard to write clear and complete directions, and you're going to end up getting frustrated, and your reader is going to get frustrated and confused. So choose something that you know how to do really, really well. Outline each step before actually writing these paragraphs. So make sure you have a clear set of steps and outline for you to follow as you write. It's a good idea to use a graphic organizer, and we're going to take a look at an example graphic organizer that you can use at the end of this presentation. Your topic sentence for this type of writing should describe the activity or skill to be taught. So before your reader begins actually getting to the steps, you want to explain to your reader exactly what it is you're trying to teach them to do. Make sure that you are very detailed in your steps. For instance, if you are telling somebody how to make origami, paper folding into different shapes, you can't just say fold the paper. You need to be very specific. Fold the paper in half, long ways. Fold the paper into thirds, with each third opening up towards you. You need to be really specific. Lots of details. Use sequence words. Words like first, next, then, before, after, finally. They help your reader keep track of the steps. They help your reader keep track of where they're at in the process. So make sure you use those sequence words in your writing. And include diagrams or pictures. Really helpful for your reader to be able to follow along if you have just a small diagram or a picture that shows them the step that you are currently writing about. They don't have to be elaborate, they don't have to be very detailed pictures or diagrams, but just something to give your reader a visual to go along with your written directions. Now, and make sure that you define any specialized words. So some hobbies have a very specialized vocabulary, words that perhaps your reader might not know because they're just learning the skill. So make sure that you define any of those specialized words, any words that your reader might not recognize. As I said, it's a good idea to plan these. Here is an example of a planning form that you could use for this type of writing. At the top, you would include some materials. Make sure in your beginning of your writing, in your introductory paragraph, right after your topic sentence, you tell your reader the materials that they're going to need to have for your process. That way they can gather them together before they actually get to the steps. Then you'll want to plan out the steps, so you can jot them down in this graphic organizer. You can see there is a box for each step. If you need more steps, that's fine, just add more boxes. There's also a place for you to jot down any specialized terms. That's just so that you remember you'll need to define those somewhere in your writing. And there's a box for diagrams. You don't actually need to put the diagram or the picture there, but this is a good place to create a list of the diagrams or pictures that you want to include in your actual composition. Again, this is just one example of a planning form, but it's really a good comprehensive planning form, and I would strongly suggest that you use either this one or something very similar to it before you actually sit down and write your how-to paragraphs. If you write without planning, it's very possible that you could miss a step or two. So that's why this is such a good idea to use.